The last thing we're going to talk about today is the Conservative Party. They're not just evil, they're also stupid. And honestly, I think that's the thing that really annoys me the most. Like, it's one thing, if there's a Machiavellian genius in charge, you'd be like, well, at least they're not incompetent, right?
Well, you wouldn't be insulted at the fact that you've been outfoxed.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're not insulted. You don't feel that really you should have known better. You know, you can at least respect the dark magnificence of of Sauron, right? But you can't do that with Conservatives. They are just actually stupid and embarrassing, and it's actually embarrassing is pretty much the only way I can really frame it. It's just cringe.
So when I went to National Conservative Conference, Steve Bray was outside every single day.
Oh yeah,
doing the typical Benny Hill music and placards, and one of the placards read "Stop the Tories," and quite a few of the attendees of National Conservative Conference said, yeah, a few of the MPs inside are thinking the same thing. They're so frustrated with the embarrassing state of their own party that they're kind of okay with a loss.
Yeah, and the Conservatives really are embarrassing. But anyway, before we begin, go and support us at lotus.com. Watch Josh's part 2 of his Victorian Values Contemplation series, which is just fascinating because, I mean, you can see from the imagery there, these are these are just a totally different kind of people to the people in charge now. Like, the people in charge now are just embarrassing. These were competent people who took their duty seriously and had a lot of responsibility. We're run by idiots who don't take anything seriously.
We are standing on the shoulders of a far better civilization. Like, we couldn't even reconstruct their plumbing network if we tried.
I mean, our civilization is something of a cargo cult of their civilization. You know, we go through the same motions, but we don't get the same effects.
Yeah,
because we don't know why they did what they did. There's an essence missing from what we do that they do, that they did. Anyway, so let's talk about the lockdown parties, because why not? It's everything that everyone has to talk about these days. The BBC in March put out a timeline. Just as a quick thing, there were 14 parties. 14. 8 of these were found to be in breach of the rules. The rest weren't included or investigated in the summary. So 14 parties.
It's like a freshers' week.
When you were, it's like a freshers' week. When you were locked in your home, 14 parties. And these are just the Conservatives as well, right? And so the Sue Gray reports about this came out in January 2022. From the conclusion, she says, a number of these gatherings should not have been allowed to take place or to develop in the way that they did. There's a significant learning to be drawn from these events, which must be addressed immediately across government. This does not need to wait for the police investigations to be concluded. Yeah, no kidding.
Translation, we're going to have one scapegoat and everyone else is going to face no accountability.
Yeah, I mean, like, every single person who went to one of these parties should be fired.
As should every single person who voted for the lockdown restrictions in the first place.
Well, yeah. I mean, this could go further and further. So, I mean, eventually it would be the abolition of the Conservative Party, which
The Hague would be very full.
A dream come true. Anyway, Boris and Sunak were both at parties, obviously.
Yep.
And so they apologised and paid their £50 fines. I'm sure they were like, oh, God, that really stings.
Do you know a couple of students, I think it was in Nottingham, got fined 10 grand?
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That hasn't been forgiven.
Well, yeah, one rule for one rule for another. But yeah, as well as Carrie Johnson, of course. So they paid £150 between them.
Right.
It's justice, folks. It's how justice works. They lock you in your house, break the rules, and then get the lightest slap on the wrist. Anyway, by the 26th of May, it became evident to a bunch of Conservatives that, hang on, this is a bit of a ticking time bomb, isn't it? This is making us look terrible. Is more going to come out about this? Is it going to make us look terrible, really bad? Michael Heseltine said Johnson was painfully on the rack. For the Cabinet Office referrals referred him to Scotland Yard and Thames Valley Police over further violations at Chequers and Number 10. He actually, there was a sitting this morning, I think it was, but I haven't had time to look at it. So there will be an update to this. Boris is probably in further trouble, kicked out of the party, or I don't know. They want to ban him from being able to go into the House of Commons.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they
actually
voted, I think it was like 384 yes and then 7 no's.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there
so
we go.
he's got no ex-MP pass.
Right, well, there we go. Boris is banned from the House of Commons.
Can I just raise a point here that I'm
really
really annoyed about? This has become a ubiquitous narrative.
Yeah.
Right. I am fine with Boris being jettisoned.
Yeah.
However, the framing that the media does is every time this story comes up, they find one person who has lost a parent or a sibling or a child under lockdown. Utterly tragic.
Yep.
And they say, I am heartbroken because I can see these images of these people partying while I was not allowed to see my parent in hospital and hold their hand.
Both of my grandmothers died in the lockdowns.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that passed away as well. So it's brutal, and I'm bloody sorry for that, mate. The point is, though, what they then go on to say, or the underlying premise of their argument is, if they would have just respected the rules more carefully. No, the rules were unjust in the first place. They were arbitrary, they were cruel, they were capricious, and they saved approximately 1,700 lives total at the highest possible estimate versus all of those they claimed from deaths of despair and other illnesses. Yeah. So it is
not to talk about the delays for treatment in cancer surgeries and all this sort of stuff.
Heart attacks,
We do not know what the fullest extent of the damage of the lockdowns will be. And then you've got the retardation of children's education, which is just... Again, as a father, if you'd ask my nans, are you okay to lock down the country so you might not die from COVID? And neither of them died from COVID, by the way. They would have said no. Yeah. Obviously, I don't want to damage my grandchildren's development.
It's not unforgivable that they were partying while they set the rules in place. It's unforgivable that they ruined our lives for nothing and then laughed about it.
And man, were they laughing. The Mirror got the video. Let's watch. We can get the next one up. You can see.
Oh joy!
In fact, John, can you play this with the sound on, just so?
Not her boyfriend. No.
You started from the beginning, just to make sure we got the whole thing.
It's a fairy tale New York.
It's not her boyfriend. No, it's not.
Can we spread that? Right, let's make sure that gets a
Third party.
Someone says something an ad.
Instagram Live. As long as we don't scream it, we're like.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you can stop by there. So,
can I also point out as well, and this
is like a scene from The Office.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone noticed.
Yeah, so one of the... Yeah, I know, John, it is the one for the previous article. It's Sean Bailey's campaign party. I'm sure you're going to say that people in here got honours later on.
Yeah, no, John, don't worry, I've got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, so point being, I would like to say, at the start, if you heard the narration, they're gossiping about the people dancing, and they're saying that, oh, that's not her boyfriend, things like that.
Ooh,
well, how salacious. This is why I... sort of in Westminster for a bit, but why I'd never want to return, never want to work in politics. Because these are the exact kind of people... I've probably been in a room with these people at some point, at a conference or something. These are the exact kind of people that populate every single parliamentary office, think tank, and the like. There are a few good people in that. Some, I assume, are good people. But they want to stab each other in the back. They all want to whisper about each other and spread rumours and engage in feminine reputation destruction. And also, they are only there for the piss up, and they care nothing about the values they claim to espouse, whether or not the values are those unjust laws, or whether or not they claim to be true conservatives on television while doing all sorts of substances behind the scenes.
And they seem to be just deeply mediocre people.
Yeah, they're all midwits. Loads of them are midwits.
I mean, it's so embarrassingly clear that these people are not the best and brightest. You know, like I said, it looks like a scene from The Office. Yeah. Like I expect Michael Scott or David Brent to just, walk in, and it's like, oh god. But the worst part, really, of course, was when the guy filming it, someone says to him, "It's not going on Instagram Live, is it? We're not going to be showing that we're bending the rules," and everyone laughs. And it's like, right, you effing morons recorded your Christmas party.
Yep.
Like, just this is it. Like, okay, if you're evil, fine, at least be competently evil. I can at least respect a competent evil. But no, incompetent, retarded evil is just... it just really annoys me, So the Mirror gives us some details on this. There were 24 people there, 2 named on Boris's resignation honours list. Brilliant. I wonder if his hairdresser's on there.
Yeah, she was.
Got to remember, this was on the 14th of December 2020 when the UK was barred from socialising indoors. Remember when they were like, yeah, so don't have Christmas parties?
Yep.
While they were having Christmas parties. Just saying. This, as you said, was the CCHQ Christmas party of Sean Bailey. And the event was going on while everyone else was banned from it. This, if you go to the next one, this was just before the Christmas lockdown rules, which were confirmed. 3 households were allowed to mix for up to 5 days in a plan to allow families to reunite at Christmas. Oh, do you remember when the government was so generous that they let us meet with our loved ones at Christmas? That's so kind.
I don't think I'm allowed to say on the internet that I broke these rules. So I didn't.
Yeah. Bubbles were only able to gather in private homes, go to outdoor spaces, and attend places of worship together, but they were not able to meet in hospitality settings. So I'm sure Bailey was breaking the rules. Gove was asked about this on Sky, and he was like, yeah, it's not good look, is it? Doesn't look great. He said it was terrible and completely out of order.
I mean, at least the dancing in the mirror video was substantially better than the dancing we've seen Michael Gove do on camera in an Edinburgh nightclub.
I'm sure that's true, but at least he wasn't breaking the rules while he was doing it, right?
Well, not those rules.
Yeah. The fact that this party went ahead was indefensible, he told Sophie Ridge. I want to apologise to everyone who, looking at the image, will think that these people are flouting the rules that were put in place to protect us all. I'm sure
they are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry if you perceived it that way, but they are.
I'm sure those people feel contrite, or I hope they do. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't feel
No,
anyway contrite.
no, they're just angry they got caught.
Yeah, and Gove is probably angry that they got caught as well.
Yeah.
Like, look, I have to go out. I have to be humiliated in front of the country because you prats couldn't just follow the rules that we set.
Gove's like, I'm normally the worst PR disaster for the Conservative Party. How dare you steal my title?
Gove's the one playing defence. It's like, what? You're the one that... Okay. So who was at the party? The Guardian has the details. Basically, it's a bunch of posh prats.
That's all Conservative Party staffers. I hate to break it to you.
Like, literally, this is like it's a bunch of trust fund kids, or...
I'm just shocked to see a man dancing with a girl there.
Well, that is Jack Smith and Marlin Brogue. Smith is the one pictured in a festive jumper and green trousers, and Marlin Brogue was wearing the dress to Fairy Tale of New York, and they were dancing in front of a sign that said, "Please keep your distance." How ironic. Smith is a parliamentary aide to the Conservative Energy Minister Graham Stewart. As far as I'm aware, he still has a job. Should be fired. All of these people should be fired. Bogue is the daughter of a wealthy businessman from San Francisco. And she worked for Johnson's campaign, and she was paid by an Indian industrialist. And you can see that they're just a bunch of rich, well-connected idiots.
Yep.
Like actual midwits who are just there because they were born lucky. But I don't want you to go away from this thinking, well, the Conservatives, terrible. Oh, the Labour Party would never... Yeah, they all broke the rules too. Right? They all broke the rules. All of them. Right? I hate this. They all broke the rules. Corbyn broke the rules multiple times. And the thing is, I don't even disagree with him breaking the rules. The rules were terrible. Like, Jeremy Corbyn had a dinner party with like 7 people when we were supposed to have 6 people. Totally arbitrary number. Totally unjust. I don't even think Jeremy Corbyn's in the wrong here.
Well, his defence, Diane Abbott does count as 2.
Starmer broke the rules, but he got away with it because of technicalities. Starmer was at... he was campaigning, you see. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so Starmer, when he had a party with the people he was campaigning with, and they were having beers and eating curry, they weren't following the guidance, but it was necessary for work activity.
Oh, they'd had a long day.
Yeah, and it was necessary work, and so they were okay. So Starmer didn't get fined. What a brilliant technicality. You know, I mean, all it really is about interpretation by the authorities. And the police were like, well, you're the Labour Party, so we're going to interpret in your favour. By the way, this Starmer Beergate inquiry cost 100k. It's just £100.
Again, there's a video of it.
Yeah, there was a video of it.
Yeah, taken through the window.
Yeah.
So we know it happened. So
yeah, we know
why is he not paying some bereaved lockdown family 100 grand?
Well, why isn't he paying the 50 quid that Boris and Sunak had to pay? But no, on a technicality, no, we were campaigning, so this was necessary work. So I'm going to drink my beer and eat my curry and hang out with my staffers. But then even the guy behind the lockdowns broke them. Neil Ferguson, the guy who created lockdowns in the UK, he went and saw his mistress and broke them. It's like...
So did Rosie Duffield, didn't she?
Yeah.
She was cheating on her fella.
Just everyone. Everyone broke these, right?
Matt Hancock.
Yeah, Matt Hancock.
Famously.
Yeah,
despite wanting to arrest Nigel Farage for sitting in a pub.
Amazingly, there was a woman who wanted to kiss Matt Hancock. Like, no, I'm genuinely shocked at it. And somehow he couldn't do that without breaking the rules. So, okay,
the most depressing part of lockdown is that Matt Hancock did better than I did under lockdown with women.
Yes, that is depressing for you. But there is one person who didn't break the lockdown rules, and that's Andrew Bridgen, of all things, of all people. You know, goodest boy who gets kicked out of the Conservative Party for being a decent chap.
By Matt Hancock.
By Matt Hancock, yeah, exactly. Was invited to 2 drinks parties at number 10 and refused both times, apparently. Good for him. And, of course, things are going downhill for Rishi Sunak because another MP has quit. But the point is, this is a massive storm over really petty things that should never have happened. The Conservatives should just never have done this. These were totally avoidable rookie mistakes that they have made. And I'm not sad that they're getting absolutely canned.
Can I annoy you even further?
No.
Do you know what Sue Gray's doing now?
No.
She's senior Labour advisor. Immediately appointed one of the senior Labour advisors by Keir Starmer. Big club, we're not in it.
I hate this. I hate the politics of this country. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, the Conservatives, this is just destroying. They've got no reputation left to destroy. Everyone hates them. They're on like 24% in the polls. They're going to get an absolute wipeout. And it's going to be historic as well, right? Tony Blair's was the biggest win in 1997 of 418 seats. Biggest win ever in all of parliamentary history. Somehow Keir Starmer is going to beat that. And it's not really somehow. It's that the Conservative parties deserve the absolute wipeout they're going to get. Polls at the moment are predicting, look, if there's an election tomorrow, then the Conservatives are going to have something like 130 seats. And it's just, and the Labour Party will be on like 450 to 480, something like that. It's just like, that is unprecedented. Inconceivable merely in 2019, right? In 4 years, the Conservatives have destroyed everything. And so, get what they deserve. I'm not going to be sad when it happens.
No.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this episode on Victorian values, arts and sciences. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.